participation part, okay? Here's the agenda I'd like to work with. I'll do an introduction and explain the expectations. And then I'm going to do a highlight or a brief overview of the board, staff, and member roles and responsibilities as it relates to communication. Can you see over here?
Yep.
Okay. I tried to move the podium when I wasn't blocking someone. Okay, then we'll go into the status of the major changes that are currently going on. And then I'm going to ask for member participation and response after each update. And the first is on the portal. The second will be on the core report, and Dottie will talk on the portal. Catherine and Barb will talk on the core report. In the mailroom postings, I'll talk, but I have two ladies that have agreed to be responsible for that. And I'll introduce them when we get there. Any questions on the agenda? Okay. Somehow we missed one here. Let me go back.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to do that?
Well, you want to?
Sure.
Okay, I'm Carolyn Quehl. I'm actually a newbie. I have been here just about 2 years. I know a lot of people. I don't know you all. And I understand how hard it is to move into a community that's been well established for many of you for 15 years or more. More, that's what I mean. It's like moving into a small town and you don't know the ropes. And you don't know the boundaries.
I saved it for this city.
We need a minute to get reoriented here.
I touched something.
Is she coming back? So I suppose as soon as she gets home. Okay, no, she may get there. Who's that? Oops.
It's a touch screen, you gotta be careful, Daddy. Okay, so,
She's standing there.
Carolyn Quehl, I've been here just about 2 years as of this month. And I have been very active on the marketing committee, working on the website. I worked with Dale and still am on the United Task Force for all 17 Applewood. And just recently was asked to chair the Communication and Technology Committee. It's a little out of my comfort zone because I am not the strongest on technology. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
But I took it. And this is my main premise. Cooperative living requires great communication at every level and by all of us, each one of us. It's not like going into a show and they're just going to deliver everything to you. Cooperative living involves being cooperative. It sounds so simple. Okay, we can move on, Diane. I did the agenda, so we'll keep going. The next one.
Whoops, back up.
Okay, I'm going to start with the staff. The staff is managed, or our building is managed by Ebenezer. That means that the office personnel and the maintenance personnel are employees of Ebenezer. They take their directions and they get their paychecks from Ebenezer. I want to stress that because it's so easy when they're here to just stop and talk to them, greet them. I mean, we want to be polite, but at the same time, they have a job to do. And they don't report to us, but they're very responsive. Okay? So as we go on, I'll talk about ways in which we can relate. They are responsible for the operation, the communication related to the buildings and grounds, and how it operates. They handle the vendors, all the maintenance issues, documenting compliance. They keep us in line with HUD. They have to be responsible to governmental agencies, local agencies, fire marshals, etc. And then they handle the staff schedules. How do they communicate with us? They have a variety of ways. I'm sure we might have some new people here. I didn't give all the names. But in the office, we have Aaron and Michelle. In maintenance, we have Brent and Dave, and Gary is here quite a few days a week now. They communicate in a variety of ways. One is Volo. Many of you have probably gotten a Volo message on your phone or your text, if that's where you want it, on your cell phone. And it's a loud beeping, and it's an urgent and an immediate message. The building's on lockdown. We may not know why. We'll find out later, but that's the message sometimes. There's a leak. Evacuate this area. That's a message. Many of us can be gone and come back and see there's a note or a Volo from the staff, and instead of listening to it, we might just call the staff. I mean, if you can put this in perspective, and I tried to do this, if you were in the workshop working on a project, if you were down in the garden working on a project, if you were making a recipe and following it, and you had 10 interruptions, how efficient would you be? And without meaning to, this is what we can do to staff after they've already communicated. So I just want to mention that because that's how they communicate. That's urgent, that's immediate. They also communicate via emailing notices, giving us updates, giving us schedules, and they don't always have the option of deciding exactly what the schedules will be. For example, we recently had the whole parking lot redone. And I don't know if he's come, but he's asked me if he could come in and just say a word to thank everybody again that was so involved in handling the driving and the busing and making sure everybody was taken care of that needed to get to the other parking lot. And the board for making arrangements for other parking lots. But they handle the schedules, postings, and limited requested print copies. And it's those people that request them. I want to say a bit more on the schedules. They don't always have the option when you work with a vendor of determining how far in advance they can schedule, when they have to change their schedules, etc. But they're knowledgeable and they're doing the best job that they can. Okay. Another one. Okay, belay. All of that was introduced, I believe, within the last year. It's relatively new to us. It was so easy to stop someone in the hall and say, "This isn't working in my room, will you take care of it?" But that you now have a system, and there's a reason. It's that they can come in and then order their days on what is most practical to do when, and what is needed for priorities. Also, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm trying to get there.
So they think she's done.
It's a lovely break in the day.
With the lake. Okay, what was it?
Reservations?
Thank you. Reservations. People are using that quite well, but every once in a while the staff will still get asked to put it down for reservations. But for the maintenance, we still can improve. Let me say it that way. We can still improve on the maintenance requests and doing it in belay and work orders. Okay, moving on to the board. I did this especially because we have so many new members right now. But the board of directors, they're all owners. They're all owners and members here. And we elect them for 3-year terms. Every once in a while, there's a year term that has to be filled out, and we elect for a year also. But they get elected for 3 years. They have 3 kinds of board meetings, is what I've been able to figure out. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But there are board meetings where we are invited as observers. So we're just there to hear what's happening and what they're dealing with. In those board meetings, they make the motions, they approve them, they vote. We're not really a part of that. We're just hearing and observing. Then they have board meetings that are work sessions. And in those work sessions, they might very well invite participation, ask members to make announcements, etc. So that's more of an interactive board meeting. Okay. Then there are times where they have to have closed door meetings. And there's reasons for that. Legally, it could involve vendors, or maybe they're meeting with their lawyers, but those have to be closed door sessions. All of the minutes, once they're approved for the first 2 types of meetings, are typed up, copies go into the books in the library. So there's a way, even if you don't read your emails, there's a way you can go back and read, or for a number of months. So it's available to you. Oh, and of course, the portal has all of the recent ones. I don't know how far back do we go, Daddy?
Back to 2024.
24.
Beginning of, yeah.
Okay. So there's quite a few on the portal as well. It's just so that even the new members know how you can be involved and where you can get access to the things you'd have no way to know. How do they communicate? How does the board communicate? Via email? Memos, notices, and they do postings, and they do limited print for the people that have requested them. There is a board member, just a second, Art. There's a board member assigned to every standing committee. And I'm going to talk about committees in a minute. Okay, Art, what?
On the calendar, I noticed they referred to board meetings as discussion versus work session. So I think the discussion one is that Thursday afternoon, and then on those, sometimes it's with staff, so it'd be a staff board meeting versus a discussion that's amongst board members themselves, but people are open to listen in and sometimes given permission to add questions.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that,
Well, I don't know.
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. See, I'm too new, Art. Okay. Any questions on the board? Okay. The committees. I noticed when Anna Lee did the last town hall, there was a number of questions. In other words, how do the committees function, etc. In terms of reporting, in terms of where minutes are, etc. Just as the board is elected, people choose other committees by option. And those committees, you know, whether it's the Adventure Club or marketing, well, no, that's a standing committee though.
That's what we're going to talk
Well, okay, all the committees. Because we're all encouraged to be involved, when you're on a committee, those committee members elect who is going to be running that committee. The chair, co-chair, recorder, any number of people. And then they elect. The minutes are all recorded. There's a board report that's given, and the minutes are all recorded, and they are also in the portal. So you have access to everything. There's a board member assigned to every standing committee. And those are the major ones: finance, marketing, etc. Moving on to members. As owners in a cooperative building, we have a vested interest in understanding and participating in community life. It's not like I rent an apartment and I may or may not know my neighbors, I'm not involved in how the apartment runs, etc. Cooperatives are different. So as owners, we all have a vested interest in understanding and participating in community life. And community involvement helps strengthen our cooperative. Many of the activities we have are because members wanted to do something and they found enough of a core to agree, and things are planned and done. Whether it's an outing, a trip, same thing with book clubs. I mean, it's not that things are forced on you, but this is how you get involved and meet other members. This is how you get to know members, but this is how you ensure that we have a cooperative that you enjoy living in and people want to live in. It's by your involvement. And communication is a strong component of that life. And how we receive and process communication has consequences. And how we communicate to others is equally important. And I was trying to think of some of the responsibilities that we have. And I mean, I'm just going to mention some minor ones, but we want a secure building. So one of the first things I hope the buddies are telling you, because I was certainly told that, is when you pull in, you wait for that garage door to close. Same thing when you pull out. That's one of our responsibilities. We also have night security that goes around to make sure that all the doors are shut tightly and that no one's in the building, in the garage that shouldn't be there. What other responsibilities do we have? When you're away, what do you put on your door? The green sticker. And that's so that if there's ever an emergency here, people know you're not here. They don't have to have the fire department come in and see you or to check you because there's been a gas leak. Okay. And then there are some members that need the red sticker on the door, and that means they need extra help in the event of an emergency. The whole issue of who do you call when you have an issue? During the week, if you have a maintenance issue during work hours, who do you call? You go belay, or you call, if it's an emergency, you call rent or maintenance somehow, okay. And weekends, and I'm gonna mention this, but it doesn't agree with the manual, so I'm being very careful here. On the weekends, okay, if you have a medical emergency, what do you do?
911.
911. Okay. Again, these are just some of our responsibilities, but it's easy to forget that people depend on us. Okay, on weekends, same thing. If you have a medical emergency, 911. If you have an emergency that's maintenance, you're supposed to call Ebenezer. And we were given these refrigerator stickers.
That's right.
Well, the manual doesn't say that, but Brent said it in a meeting and passed these out. So what I'm going to do is make sure we get more of them. But the reason I suspect is because anyone in maintenance that would have to be called is who? An employee of who? Ebenezer. So when I was thinking about all these things, I happened to look at the manual that's in both the portal and in that 400-page notebook you got after you downsized to move in here, right? Well, that's what happened to me. I certainly didn't read it, but I looked at sections, and now I realize that it says to call Brent, or to call Dale, or someone on the board if there's an emergency on the weekend. So I think that needs to be cleaned up, but that's what I was given, so that's what I'm passing on. So you can tell we still have needs in communications and technology. Okay, let me think if there's anything else that I wanted to mention with members. Okay, so it's our responsibility to listen to VOLO and respond. When you hear about severe weather and you see it on the news or you hear the sirens go off, what are we supposed to do?
Go to the car wash.
Go to the car wash. We don't need to wait for a bolo. I mean, if you were in your own home, no one was going to drag you out. You're supposed to go to a protective area, and that's our best, safest area. Okay. What kind of communication can we use? We can use emails to various staff or the board. We can use belay to the committees. I mean, if I as a committee chair got an email, I would pay attention to it. And I'm sure we have any number of committees that don't mind getting an email. And I'm sure the board would even prefer that compared to getting stopped everywhere. I mean, no one complains. I'm just saying we can assume our role in an active way and get response. Any questions on those three areas of responsibility? Staff, board, member. Anything more you want to know right now? I just tried to give a broad brushstroke.
I do. I have a question for real.
It's a real question from a member. If we do need to talk to one of the staff members, like Michelle, would she prefer an email or a drive-by? I mean, do we want her knocking on her door if we have a question? Like, just say if I want to do a transfer on death, would I just email her or set up an appointment?
You have absolutely nothing to lose by sending an email, because then she can schedule it when it works with her time. But you can let her know when you're available, you know. I've had to do a number of things for trusts, etc., and that's all I've done is send emails, you know. But I'm also guilty of walking in at times. But I realize that it's difficult, because we have 120 units. If we all took that liberty repeatedly, we'd be interfering with a lot of employees. Okay, in terms of member responsibility, Mary Ann's going to make a comment.
There's some questions.
I was just going to say, as far as the office, we are strongly encouraged not to knock on the door. If the door is closed, she's busy with something, so.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so that should be said.
Okay, but you wanted to say something else in terms of our responsibility. Now's a good time. It is. Okay.
Okay.
Stand up.
So you go here, so
Say your name.
I don't want to be looking people at my back. My name's Mary Ann Stanglin. I've been here about 9 years. And the thing that came up for me, I didn't think was going to fit in this particular communication, but I think it does. So when I moved in here 9 years ago, I was one person that moved. I walked in the door and everybody knew who I was. And at first it was really kind of like, oh my gosh. But then it was like really comforting, like, wow, this is a community. And, you know, I embraced that very quickly. Fast forward 9 years, and we have lots of people moving all the time. At that point, 2016, I think there had been 1 or 2 turnovers a year up to that point. So it was a very stable community. Everybody knew everybody. It was easy to learn one person, whatever. So, sorry, I gotta breathe. I wasn't expecting to talk right now.
Please do.
Please do. Okay, so the thing that has been, so the last few years, I have not been around much. I've done a lot of caregiving. I haven't been around meetings. I've just been catching them online. Haven't had a real good sense of the community. And I would say to people, wow, there's people, I've never seen those people. Do they belong here? And I thought it was just me because I hadn't been around much. And then I heard people say, you know what, people have been around, yeah, there's new people all the time, and I don't know who they are and whatever. Which got me thinking, I'm thinking it's time for us to bring to the forefront the conversation about wearing our name tags. You know, the new people, I mean, we can say there's only a few, we put their picture up, we know them, but they've got 150 people to learn. So I just would like to encourage us to have a conversation about that. If there's pushback, is there a better way we can communicate that? But I think that's one of the most basic communications about who are we, who is our communication, who lives here, who doesn't live here. And I would suggest anytime we're in public, you know, out of our unit, go into the mailbox, you see people, you get to know people, you can see a name and a face together.
Yeah.
And I've been told that there's a community across town where they actually made fancy name tags, and that's just their MO. That's the way they do life. When you're out of your unit, you've got the name tag on, you know who's in the community. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, and I guess this was the time to do it.
It's kind of the opposite of COVID.
Well, you see, it does deal with self-responsibility. It's our role as a community member and communication, and that's what this meeting's all about. Okay, Art?
Art Oglesby, when we first moved here, I think it was second floor, invited us to meet all of the second floor people, and we had a social gathering. Fourth floor does that once in a while, probably all the floors. So that was just some individual on that floor took the initiative to organize treats and a gathering, and they reserved the Applewood room and invited the new people that were, and it's time to do that again, I think. But what was really valuable is those new people got to spend a few minutes talking about what they, you know, their history. It's kind of like meet your neighbor, but some people choose not to do meet your neighbor, but they were pressured to just kind of share what they've done with their lives and their kids and their grandkids. And that was real valuable. But as a new person, I obviously wouldn't remember the names of everybody I was talking to at those smaller meetings, but there's other ways to get people to know you too.
Thank you, Art.
I have one about. I'm Bob Fitzpatrick. I've been here 4 years and a few months. Last year, Belay was still very new, and so when we were supposed to get the calendar ready for the following year, we turned a lot of things into Erin. Are we supposed to do that for recurring events for this, or for recurring committees and events, or are we supposed to do it ourselves?
No, we don't give it to Erin.
Okay.
Everything goes to that.
Well, no, I'm talking about delay for the calendar. You know,
The recurring one.
the Belay calendar where you reserve rooms because
Yes.
it's the meetings and
Yes,
so
it can
forth.
go to Erin.
So it should put lists together for that, and then she'll enter them on that calendar.
Right.
All right, thank you. Well, yeah, but if you got to do one for each month, do I do the whole list myself or do I give it to Erin and she goes faster with that?
She can set it up.
I am guessing that if you want to reserve the Applewood room and you go to Belay and you find that little spot of time and day and the room and you reserve it yourself with the internet, then the office managers will approve that officially and then you have it.
Yeah, right.
This is Annalise Stranskov. I'm taking notes, but I'm still going to talk. I think I've heard a lot of confusion between Belay and Portal Calendar. And I don't know if Donnie wants to speak right now, but I'm finding that people don't know how to get things onto the Portal Calendar.
Dottie has 15 minutes coming up.
For the recurring meetings in Belay, there's a section where it says description. I just make a note to Erin that says, please reserve this every Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4. And then she reads that and she does the recurring meeting for me. But I do it in Belay. I don't talk to her. She's awesome. So, if that helps.
Okay.
See how much there is to communication we know and don't know? I mean, it's amazing how much there is. Okay, I've tried to set aside the bulk of the time for the major changes, and that is portal and certainly core report. So right now, I'm going to ask Dottie to take over for the core report and give you all the new features that you haven't heard about that have been added. And just to give you an example of how this is a moving target, when the calendar first appeared on the portal, it was very hard to read. It was so different than what we were used to. We talked about it in the ComTech meetings, and we said, how about if we do a this week? Because then it could be larger, easy to read, etc. And Art suggested, how about this day? So, this is how things come about. So if you look on the portal, you will see all three, but she also has created a much more readable, colorful, printable calendar.
Okay.
Now I'm going to turn over to her and let her show you how to use it.
So you have this set to just showing the slides? Can I change the setting to?
You can turn that off and we'll come back to it.
Okay, all right, got it then. I don't know. There we go.
Just turn the whole thing off.
Escape. We gotta plug it
Go to
in
escape.
your computer.
No, I'm gonna
She's
use-
on portal on my computer.
Okay.
Ah, there it is.
Oops.
Oh,
Click that out.
Click it again. X.
I'm trying to, there we go, there we go. Okay, so there's a lot on the portal, and the purpose of the portal was to make all the information at Applewood, New Brighton available to you and accessible, because pre-portal, the information was in many locations and a lot of people owned it and it was hard to maintain and track. And so we still have a lot of owners of this content. I only put it on a web page. I don't own the content. So that's another thing I want to talk about, your responsibility of giving me the information to put on the portal. So the three things I want to, because there's so much information, I only want to cover three things today. The post, the calendar, and the directory, which I think all feed into what Carolyn's been presenting so far. Although there's a lot of other information, and in other meetings I can go through, like the board, the committees, the town hall, where the minutes are. But today we'll just look at these three changes. So one is, at one point, like Carolyn said, when you clicked on this calendar, you got, and why is it not moving? Come on, there we go. You got the monthly calendar, which was on a laptop, easy to read, but on a phone it was difficult. On an iPad, you had to go landscape and play with it a little bit. So a monthly calendar was not really usable for everyone. So what we did was and thank you for all the comments, you guys, all of these improvements come from the members. So a lot of these improvements that you're gonna see are suggestions or recommendations from the members. And one of them is, Art said, and I'd love to quote him, he said, I just want to see where I'm supposed to be today. I don't want to look at the monthly calendar. So I thought, what an amazing, great idea. And so I think even that day, we created this one called Today. And today just shows you what's happening today. And it displays really nicely on your phone. So rather than trying to get 31 days on a little 2-inch screen, now you're just getting this list of what's happening today. If you scroll down to the bottom and hit next, it'll show you tomorrow, so you can keep going through days. Another thing I want to point out is on an iPad or a phone, you need to sometimes scroll on the light blue bar. So if you're scrolling in I don't know if you can, oh good, you can see this. If you're scrolling inside the white, it might just keep bouncing on you, and you're like, why is it bouncing? I can't get to the next button. Go over on the light blue where the frame is and go on that, and you'll see this. Okay, so one thing I want to bring up or mention is that all of this information is coming from the same calendar. So it's not like it's a lot of maintenance, it's just different views of the exact same calendar that I maintain. And so, okay, another thing is because of real estate, on the monthly calendar, you won't see like the birthdays. There's some things you won't see because it takes up too much space. But on what's happening today, you're gonna see the birthdays. So, okay, and then if I go back, another thing, if you notice on a laptop and also if on a iPad or a iPhone or a phone, I'm sorry, on a tablet or a phone, if you click these three little, let me see if I can make that happen. I probably can't, but right up in the corner above the leaf, there'll be three little lines. It's called a sandwich. There are three little lines. If you click on those three little lines on your tablet or your phone, it will open up this blue panel. So when you're on your phone, you won't see the blue panel, you're just gonna see this. If you wanna see the blue panel, click on the three little lines that are up here in the corner. Okay, so there's today, here's weekly. So weekly it's kind of like what you might have seen in the office. It's like this is our weekly calendar. Same thing. If you want to scroll down on a tablet or a phone, scroll on the light blue bar. Don't scroll in the white because it'll keep bouncing on you. So you can see here's the entire week. The nice thing about this is it shows beginning times and end times. You can see if there's overlaps. See right here, you can see there's an overlap between the fire pit and cribbage. And they're also colored. So purple is special events. So if you see, if it's purple, that means it's a special event, like the craft sale tomorrow. If it's dark blue, that's coming from the board. So like the board session, the town hall. So immediately you can see by the color that, oh, there's 2 board meetings this week, or one's a town hall. If it's green, it's coming from like the recurring events. It's the stuff that happens every week. Committees, prayer group, Thursday, those are recurring meetings. So if you see the green, it's something that's always there. They're recurring. The purple means it's a one-time special event. The blue is from the board. And the light blue up here are the birthdays and anniversaries. So you can see, and again, because it's not the monthly calendar, and I don't have to worry about real estate, the birthdays are on here, and the anniversaries. So that's the weekly calendar. You can print it if you want, but okay, the monthly calendar is the ugly calendar that we went live with. This is the calendar that we started with. It's kind of difficult to read. It's nice if you want to see the entire month. The birthdays are not on here because you can already see that we can't even get everything that is on there. So here's Samba and 500 are here, but you can't see them because it's a real estate issue. But the monthly calendar has its purpose too. So thank you to another member who said how ugly this is. And I loved her words. I loved it. She said it's really ugly when you print it because things get cut off. Like gangsters in where? In the lobby? Where are they? So chili supper with who? You know, Helen Keller? I don't know. So it's like, if you try to print this, it's really ugly. So one of the new features is that we now created a printable calendar. So if you click on this one, it looks a lot like what Tom gave us, which was beautiful. Tom, there's some big shoes to fill there. So here's Tom's, or this is the one that is similar to what Tom gave us. Everything wraps so you can see it all. Everything fits. There's no 2 more. And you can print this by clicking on this, either whether you're on a phone, a tablet, or here. If you click on this little gray arrow, it's kind of a gray arrow, and you'll see there's a print icon, or maybe yours is different. There it is. You can just do this and print it. I would be more than happy when Carolyn said some people prefer emails. I love texting and email. I'm not very good at answering the phone. You probably have noticed that. I'm not very good. Bob, I love texts and emails because It's kind of like I get to look at it when I want to, and I don't have to pick it up when I'm in the middle of dinner or something. So if you need help printing this, or even learning how to navigate on a phone or on a tablet, let me know. I love doing house calls. I've met so many wonderful people. One-on-one, it's way more fun than big groups like this. I don't get to know anybody. Okay, so that's that one. That's the printable one. One thing about this was a learning curve on my part. Tom always had a deadline. So if you want anything on the calendar, get it in by, maybe it was the 23rd. Well, I thought our calendars are real time. I can just add everything like that. Well, with the printable calendar, I do need to know by, say, the 27th. And I'll send an email out regarding this, but because I don't want to create that, this takes a little bit of work. I don't want to create this, like this month, I had to recreate it like 4 times because I got some late events. My fault, like I said, learning curve, deadline. I'll set a deadline for, if you want it on the printable calendar, then if you would get it to me by, say, the 27th, I can have it ready by the time we print these and put them in the cubbies. Okay, so that's this one. And then, let me go back to, we also have the calendar update request form, which is this came up a few times here when we were talking about belay versus the portal. So if I go back home, and I hit on the calendar, and I see all of these buttons, I see the today, the weekly, the monthly. Oh, I didn't even get to the special events. So these are the special events. These are the one-time events. And I've had people ask me if they could add something to this, like say something, she did not ask me, but just say the fire pit. She would like to have the fire pit on her, and she didn't ask me this, but I'm just trying to think of an excuse. Well, that happens every Wednesday, so that's a recurring event. These are events that only happen once, like the bake sale, the flu shot, the Point Brothers. These are a one-time thing. The Marcia Fleur, the Apple Fest is coming up. So if you're looking for a special event, like say that you're planning Christmas and you don't want to miss our holiday events, you could go look ahead here and look at what holiday events are coming up, so that you can plan around them. See right here, oh, there's some in July. Okay. So, I don't even know what's going on. Leave for Ireland. Are we going to Ireland? Alright. There's one more, is that a lot of people like to print out the apples or the birthdays and anniversaries. Okay. Are we okay? Okay. Okay.
I just have one question about the calendar.
Yes.
Is there a way to print to your, or to save it on your own Google Calendar?
Yes, there is, and I can show you how. I better not do it today because I only have 15 minutes. I'd love to show you. Anyone that wants to do that, I actually have it set up like that. So I can toggle back and forth, I can overlay it, and I can look at my whole week with my own events. It's wonderful. So, okay, thanks. Okay, so this is the birthdays, and this is all the birthdays for the year. So, yep. I hope I got them, and anniversaries. I hope I got them all in there.
Nope.
Please?
You don't.
I don't.
No, well, some of us choose not to have our birthday published.
Right. Oh, exactly. There is some in here and that's a very, very good point, is that we did request that permissions form when the portal went live, and we are respecting those. Before we post anything, we look at that list and make sure that if you want your photos or your birthdays or anniversaries. Okay, so going back to the calendar, here's the calendar update request form, and this is a good time to talk about this. It says right here, to use this form, use it to add, remove, or change events on the APNB calendar. So it's our calendar. To reserve rooms, you have to go to the belay application, and you can actually click on it and go there from here. So if you want to reserve the Apple, if you're going to email me or submit a request to reserve the Apple or to list an event in the Applewood room, please make sure that you've reserved the room in belay first. And then also, what I need is the time that the event starts, not the time you're going to start setup. And that's where there's a difference in belay and the calendar. Is in belay you want to add setup time, So say you're gonna have an event at noon, you may wanna have, you're in Belay from 11:30 to 12 or 1:30, so you have cleanup but in the calendar, you only want people to show up at 1. So I hope I didn't make that too confusing. Basically, in Belay, you add your setup and cleanup time. In the calendar, you're just broadcasting to the members when the event is. So, anyway, so the point or the bottom line is, please, before you use this request form, before you ask to have an event added, deleted, or changed, or especially added, make sure that you've reserved the room in Belay first. Okay.
Dottie,
Yes.
can you ask that it be a repeat on your calendar via this form?
Yes. You know what?
What was the question?
That's a good
Repeat.
question. It doesn't say that. I can add that. I think that's a really good point. See, all the improvements come from members. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, her question was, can you request to have a recurring meeting using this form? And the answer is no. So like I said, most of the improvements come from the members. So I will add on here, is this a recurring meeting? Okay, good question, Patty, thank you.
I'm still confused on recurring too, when you do it in Belay, will that automatically?
Microphone.
One at a time.
I'll let you go first, Alan.
So I know we have to make the reservation in Belay for recurring meetings. Usually at the beginning of the year, committees do that. Then are you going to be doing that too at the beginning of the year, making it recurring on yours? Or do we have to ask you to do that?
No, it'll be recurring. I mean, can I have that back? Sorry, guys.
Joe's gonna give you one if you need it.
Okay, and I'm just gonna probably repeat, well, I'll repeat your question, then I'll repeat something. Her question was, in Belay, you request to have a recurring meeting, like at the beginning of the year. Would you do the same with this calendar? And I would think yes. So we haven't had a beginning of the year yet, so this is a good question. So I would think at the beginning of the year, if you're gonna continue to have your meeting,
Still have to request at the beginning of the year.
or I can make an assumption that you're gonna continue. So if your group, if your committee decides at the end of the year, you're only gonna meet once a month instead of every other week, if I assume you're still meeting every other week, I'll leave it that way. I would think if there's any change. No, Bonnie?
Well, I always found it awkward to have to remember to reserve the room, you know, on an annual basis, or put it on the calendar on an annual basis when
No,
when we change, it doesn't necessarily change at the beginning of the year anyway. It could happen at any time during the year. We could decide we're meeting on a different day from now on or
That's
whatever.
true. Okay, so we're gonna make another quick law, I don't wanna make it so formal. Suggestion. You don't, if it's a recurring meeting, you don't have to let me know, I'll just let it roll into every year. You don't have to tell me it's gonna continue to recur. It'll just roll into every year.
There are a few popular dates where people wanted to reserve the Applewood room for guests, or say the guest room or the Applewood room to have parties. I think there's a couple things like Christmas Eve. It's community, that you can't take it away from the community. Most of the time you can though. So some people would want to reserve it as quick as possible so they be sure to get it. It's like being first in line on Black Friday. So they would reserve the prime spots. So I think there might be a rule with the office that you can't be reserving more than 4 months in advance. But I'm not sure on that. That might have been changed, but that's the way it used to be.
For a private event.
For private events.
There is a list of dates you cannot have.
Right, we know that. And so the dates you cannot have, I think, was New Year's and Christmas, and New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve.
No, there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole list.
Where would we see it?
I've seen it
portal.
before.
Okay, in terms of reserving the room for a private event, there is a time limitation. I think it's 3 or 4 months. But also, anytime you put in a reservation, it has to be approved by the office, so they would catch it.
Folks, I'd like to suggest that if you want to talk, put your hands up so we can get a mic to you. Otherwise, we're forced to repeat. So.
Is there anything else around the calendar, or I'll move on to the directory? Okay, we have something, someone, I mean.
I have, first, I really like what you're doing, and I think it's great. I do have a concern in that for me, I put a lot of emphasis on looking at the monthly calendar when it comes out, the printable calendar. And in the last 2 weeks, there were 3. I missed a finance meeting because it was at the last Tuesday of the month instead of the other one. I know that it was changed, but I didn't. I consulted the calendar that was out here on the print thing, and it said the last Tuesday, so I missed it. The gangster program was listed as starting at 1:30, and although we tried to let people know, there were people that came down at 1:30 for the gangster program. And then the craft sale, which is a biggie, isn't on the print calendar that came out. So my suggestion, one is, yes, people have to let you know, and that's our responsibility. But the second thing is, I found it, and I know as co-chair of the finance committee for 2 years, when Tom did it, he'd always send out a calendar sample of the print version for review. And I'm sure that almost every month there were corrections made. So I know it adds more work, but if it's possible to let those people that have pending programs, or maybe it's everybody before it goes to the printable form, is that it's a chance to review and to make corrections. And then if there is a change made, because I go through that and I put it on our weekly, monthly calendar, our print version, because we put it up on our refrigerator, and that's the one I always consult. So I've got to learn myself to go and check periodically more often on the portal, the calendar. Right. But that print version that people put on their refrigerators is important to many of us. And to try to make sure that it's as correct as possible. And if there's a change from that calendar, it might be worthwhile sending out a post note to that if there's a change. And then I have one other item, and it doesn't have anything to do with the calendar. But, you know, we talk about all the meetings that the board and the committees have. And I think this may be being done, and I have to just become better at checking, like before the first Wednesday, what are the agendas for the upcoming meetings. But I think that if every committee chair would, by 5 o'clock the day before a meeting, see that the agenda is entered into the portal for the meeting. Then when we talk about this is an opportunity for us to attend meetings where we see something that we're interested in, we will have the opportunity to check those agendas, and it's our responsibility to check those agendas. But I think it would be helpful to the members to have that done. Thank you. And I really do. It is great what you're doing, so I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll take these as helpful suggestions.
Realize this is all new.
Yes.
And as soon as you start something new, you have changes. The one thing I was going to say is everybody can't put things on the portal. It has to go through a process, so it might have to be earlier.
Yes, first of all, I want to say, Mark, I think all of your comments are just right on. I mean, you nailed it, okay? The first one is Tom's process was amazing. And because we were moving into more of a digital calendar, I didn't think we needed that paper process, but we absolutely do. So I will do exactly what you said, is send out, to get the paper copy ready, like in a I'll send it out in an email once we figure out how we're gonna do this, but get the paper copy ready, send it out for review to whoever, I'll find out who Tom's list was, and then get it reviewed, and before Art puts it up, because I had Art jumping through hoops, because I put the paper copy in everyone's cubbies, And then I was asked for like 3 different changes because I didn't do the review process. And I'm emailing Art going, here's a new version, can you get this up on the window or the lobby? I just want to finish and then you can have it. Okay. So the review process, absolutely. That is a very essential part of this process. I didn't think of it, I didn't do it, and it was a mess. Okay, second one, initially we thought that the people who don't have printers or don't think they're gonna use the portal would opt to get the paper calendar, and everybody else could print the calendar. But this was our first month, and we found out that a lot of people really missed that paper calendar, even though you could go in and print it yourself. So for the money that it cost for us to print that calendar, we're gonna be next month be putting a printed calendar in everybody's. I'm actually very happy too. I'm very happy because I just thought it was a matter of cost, but it's not. One of the board members said, let's do it. We're gonna put a printed copy in everybody's copy next year, regardless of whether or not you use the portal. That'll also help me with I'm getting a lot of house calls to help learn how to print the calendar, which I'll still do. I'll still do them. And then you had a third one, I think, the review process, getting the printed calendar, and then you made another comment.
Well, the other one was agendas, but then if there is a change,
Agendas,
but the
yes.
other one was if there is a change. The other one is if there's a change to
I'll
the
send out a
printables
post.
to send a post.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that would just alert everybody that, hey, it's moved to like Point Brothers or something else.
Okay, I can. Another thing is with the agenda, so thank you, that was another really, really good point. So at one of the previous meetings, someone asked if we could, maybe if they could like subscribe to an agenda and they would get notified when it was updated. I've done a lot of research and it's like, I can't do it. I mean, today I can't make it so you could get a notification of when somebody's updated a agenda. So you are gonna have to go in yourself and look. So your example or your suggestion of if all of the committee members or whoever's responsible for that file would get it in at a day or two before before the meeting, then the members could just go in and look at it and know it's there. Because the notification thing didn't work. Okay, about the file managers. So as I said, I'm not responsible. Oh, he's been so patient, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing I'm responding to is the 1-2 channel that everybody's room has. And that could be changed minute by minute if I learned how to do it. Now I'm learning that from Ray Lucas. He's been doing it for years. And the first time I did it, it took me 10 hours. And I was with him holding my hand. And then the second month, again, I just had problems. I had to go to him. The third month, I had to go to him again. So this fourth month, my goal for taking it on was that if I understand it, then maybe I can teach other people. Because Ray's leaving us, that's a fact. And so, but that is a very important tool. So when Dottie said, oh, Art, I hate to do this to you, you took 10 hours to get that calendar up on that whiteboard, and now I want you to change it. Well, one thing that's really easy to change is that black scrolling marquee. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So in your rooms and in that whiteboard, that I can edit with my computer. It's PowerPoint for the other part, and I don't have PowerPoint on my computer. So I gotta come down and check out a laptop, go up and try and get it done. And while I was working on it, that laptop was needed for another meeting and I had to run it back down. So, but I learned that I can do that. So all those 4 changes you said, I didn't know if anybody was watching, but that scrolling, that's what I put on there, was all the important changes. So it's a tool that's very timely and it's very valuable. We just need to learn how to use it, and I'm looking for a committee to give me brainstorm ideas on how we can better fulfill the needs of timely changes. Because that is one thing, everybody's got it in their room. Just go to 1-2, look at that scrolling black bar, that's almost as good as Bogle.
And everything is subject to change. If with DirecTV too, so I think it's all pending. But I'm gonna move agenda because I don't wanna run out of time and there's more.
Okay, I'll just do it really quick. Okay, really quick. We used 15 minutes on the calendar, that's all I had, but she's given me some grace, so I'm gonna really quickly go into the directory, only because someone had talked about the Meet Your Neighbor, and that's another new feature we're adding, is now, to know whether or not someone added their Meet Your Neighbor to this, you'd have to scroll down and look under everyone's thing that says, oh, they did a Meet Your Neighbor, they did a Meet Your Neighbor, like this. To make it easier, there's just a tab on top. So Saturday afternoon browsing, if you want to go to Meet Your Neighbor, you can look and see. Wait a minute, it's a touch screen. There we go. It's a touch screen. Okay, you can click right below it. It'll say Meet Your Neighbor, and if you click on that, I have to learn how to use this. Oh, there it is. Okay. How do you get this up? There you go. It also tells you the date of the core report, because when you're reading this, you might think, whoa, this is really outdated. They've got 7 grandchildren now, and it only said they had 3. So, so it's got the date of the core report, and oops, there you go. So, there it is. Okay, so there they are. You can meet, these are the people who agreed to have their Meet Your Neighbor put. It's the one that was in the core report. All we did is take it and put it here. Everyone's approved it. If you don't mind, and that's why I'm really excited you gave me grace, because if you don't mind, I would love to get them all up here. It's wonderful for the new members, you know, because we read theirs in the core report. We get to read theirs, they're current, but they don't know the people who have been here since 2018, 2019. So it's a chance for the new members to get to know us as well. And then quickly, the the posts, that was another quick change, is that at one time all these posts were all on one page. It was squished, it was hard to read. Another wonderful member suggested breaking them up. So now we have the APNB posts. If you get anything from the APNB post, it's a broadcast, just general information from all the members, okay? The board posts come from the board. It's usually serious, like some regulation or law or something. The Friends post comes from Nora and Catherine, hate it, and it's usually something regarding health. It's usually sad news. And then the portal comes from me, and that's more just updates on the portal. It's more updates on what's going on with the portal, and that was it. Here you go.
Thank you.
You can just imagine how much work this portal has been.
Yes.
And it still is, and she's invested a tremendous amount of time, and you can give her another round of applause.
Let's increase her salary.
Bring it back in your PowerPoint.
You got, it was closed. You got to open up PowerPoint.
Okay. No belt sign.
Why don't you go down to yours? It's past 6.
Hit slideshow up on top. Hit slideshow up on top. Up, there it is.
There you go.
And then, oops, there we go. There. Okay, now.
Next one.
Okay. I'm going to move us to one of the key issues of communication. Our local newspaper that has been handled so faithfully for at least 4 years by Catherine and Barb, who are retiring. I'm asking them to come up and talk to you for a few minutes. But I want you to think about all the things, come on up. I want you to think about all the things that we were able to get information on. And all the writers that were involved. Upcoming events, good to know items, parking, just on and on, holiday rules and regulations, emergency procedures, etc. But this is a huge change. So you have the floor, Kat.
Okay, thank you. I am Catherine Hayden. My co-editor, Barb, is out of town. I wish she could have been here. The core report was started in 2007. So it's been around for a long time, and it's been a vehicle for communication here at Applewood Point. What I believe is the strength about the core report is that it helps build community. It helps take a lot of different subjects and topics and bring them all together in one publication. Not only that, it is also the history of our community and our people. And it's an archive. So I don't know how the portal would archive our history, but the core report does. Barb and I are both retiring. We've actually done it for 5 years. And there's several reasons, we each of us have other things we want to do. And what precipitated it was that the software with which we produced the core report is no longer going to be available in October of 2026. Wow. It's done, it's gone. It's gone to the point where we would not even be able to open up our old publisher files. Microsoft calls it end of life. and that's what it is. So, as a community, you have to decide if you want to continue on with the core report, whether it's in a print version or whether it's in an electronic version on the portal. And if you choose to continue with it, someone else is going to have to step forward to produce it. So, that's where we are, folks.
Have you given them the schedule, Catherine?
Okay, so how it works is there are 12 issues. The deadline is the 23rd of each month. Barb and I have always tried and actually succeeded in getting it done and out before the 1st of the next month. So it's worked well for us. People say, well, do you sit down and do it together? And the answer is no. She does her thing, I do mine. We do collaborate at times. But what's nice about it is that we would take every other month, but then if she went on vacation or I went on vacation, we'd cover for each other. So we would, we were editors. It was the community that gave us the information of what they wanted in. We did look at like last year's core reports. So let's say November comes up. So I go back and I look at November, and what comes up? Well, we're going to have snowbirds. So make sure we get the snowbird article in. In the summer, it's going to be the severe weather. Where do you go? Somebody's got to put that article in. So there's certain articles that come up annually that Barb and I have put in ourselves. No one gives us that information. So, I don't know, does anybody have any comments about what should happen?
The schedule, though. You're going to continue doing it.
Oh, I'm done.
But then, Barb.
I'm done. So, Barb has agreed. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what month is. Okay, so I did the October issue. Barb will do the November and December issues, and then she's done. So, if someone does not come forward or the community does not decide what they want to do with the core will come to its end of life in January. And, it doesn't have to be like that. So, I don't know if you have any suggestions or comments or how you feel about this.
Is there a new software?
Mike and your name.
Okay. Bob Fitzpatrick, is there a new software yet?
There is a new software. It's called Affinity Publisher, and I know Lois Christensen has it. I have it. I don't know how to use it yet, so I'm going to be tracking Lois down to teach me. It's you buy it, It's a standalone independent software. So yeah, there is another one. Yeah, it is actually cheap. It's like $69.99. I just bought it. But Microsoft will not be, as far as I know, putting out another desktop publishing software program. And no, you cannot do it in Word. You can't do it in PowerPoint. You gotta have a desktop publishing software. So is anyone interested in taking on a core report?
And how should we approach it?
Let me ask you this. I'd like to see a show of hands. How many people think it's important to continue it? Raise your hand. Okay, great. Thank you, that makes me feel good. Nobody raised their hands, I'd have felt really bad.
And you realize it might take a team. It might take a team. And perhaps the best thing to do is to have a task force of people get together and start working and planning.
I think that's a good idea, and I am done with it. So I have other things. I'm writing a sequel to my first novel, and I really need to get that done. So Barb has generously offered to work with whomever is going to be interested in taking this on. So if you're interested, contact Barb Walker.
I want to totally agree with Catherine, as the portal does not replace the core report.
No.
There's a lot of the information from the core report is in the portal, but it's all over the place. So it's like shopping, whereas yours just brings it all together and provides a snapshot of our life that month. It's amazing. I definitely, and I did a little, I tried to do some little magic to try to recreate it with the portal. Nothing like what the publishing talents that you and Barb have. So.
And we're not recommending it. Okay, who? Yeah.
I'm Karen Venus, and I think I've been a part of the core report since day one back in '09, I think it was. 07. And through the years, it's taken a team all the time. The people who submitted articles and made suggestions along the way, and technology had to keep up. And I think technology has eaten up the core because it's really hard to find, as you're indicating, find the way to get it going and keep it going. And so I put my 15 years in, and I could not step in today and do it.
Well, let me give a commercial for the core. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It really is a lot of fun. You get all these articles, and then you get to figure, if you like to do puzzles, that's really what it is. You get the articles, you put them in the text boxes, you have a space, and then you have to figure it out in terms of layout. How is this going to fit, and how is it going to look? And it's just a big puzzle. And it's fun to do. And then what I do is I get it together, and I know Barb does this too, and we send it out to the board and to all the contributors, and we do that in case we make a terrible mistake. And I did one recently. Yeah, Carolyn wrote an article and she put Volo, V-O-L-O, and I changed it to Bolo, B-O-L-O, because I thought, what is she talking about?
And I had the dates wrong for this meeting.
Yeah, she had the dates wrong. But the funny thing is, I was in the middle of writing this crime story, and police use bolos that I'll be on the lookout for. So when she wrote her article, that's all I had in my head. So then I changed it. Yeah. So.
Out of those that raised your hand and you realize the importance of the core report, I want you to just think for a minute, how many would be willing to serve on a task force to decide what has to be included and how to move forward? Is there a show of hands?
Yeah, we got Art. And Bob.
You want to take the names down, Annalee?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And thank you for recording.
what I was doing on my phone is, I know I've taken classes at the Science Museum in computer work, and I would think possibly that we would have to facilitate people with some training on new programs. So anyway, now I'll write down names.
And you know, I think,
Let's see the hands again, so Annalee gets the names.
Patty.
you know, I don't know, Lois, you must be here, I just don't see you. I'm sure you could give an in-service on how to do that software.
She's in the back there.
Yeah, you do
Who's in the
it.
back?
Lois.
She'd do it, Lois Christensen. I'm sure Lois would be more than happy to show
Who's
us
a
how to
new
do it.
member? New member sign up.
Okay, then, yes.
Hi, Shirley Franklin, Hanover.
Okay.
Shirley Franklin, I'm new, my husband sitting there wondering what I'm gonna say. I would suggest that you look for outside help, and I've been going through my mind what might be a college that might be send an intern to help in the Minnesota Historical Society. I participated tangentially in something and realized they're willing to do training for material that will eventually end up with them, which I think the newspaper should.
Well, that's a great suggestion, but I gotta tell you, we were just at the Minnesota Historical Society this morning for an event, and they are very, very, very short-staffed. It's not like it was pre-pandemic. So I don't think you're gonna get any help from them.
Could we try the private colleges?
You could, but I would really like to see it stay in the community. I mean, that's a good idea.
Just to learn the software even.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the software is that hard.
It is. It's hard.
Affinity Affinity Publish. Lois, how hard is it?
Okay, then you volunteer. If it's that easy.
Ganella?
Yeah, Ganella, do you take part-time people? Because I might not be here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what would be so good if there was a team. You could cover for each other.
Yeah, I do have maybe time on my hand if I don't do puzzles all day.
You know, if Lois would help me teach the software, I can give you the short course on layout. Because I mean, there are rules you have to follow in layout. With layout, you want to keep your margins, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really not hard to do layout. And I'd be more than willing to teach people how to do layout.
I did some of that for schools.
Gunilla, are you on the task force?
No.
Well, when I'm here, it could be.
Sure, put her down.
Put it down.
Okay, this is just a reminder. You should all have a handout, front and back. And there's different sections in there. And please, under the portal, put your suggestions. If you're willing to serve on the task force, so indicate that. And the core report, the same. It's on the back side.
If we don't have one, where do we get one?
Who needs them?
Any other suggestions? Gary? Greg, sorry.
Greg, microphone.
Greg Beyer. I don't have a suggestion, and I'm not volunteering to do. You could talk to Dottie about my tech skills. They're pretty low, but one thing you learn in kindergarten is you learn about warm fuzzies. So warm fuzzies is a compliment. So I really want to make sure that we compliment all past people who have worked on the core report and those presently working on the core report. And one way you can give a warm fuzzy is you can go personally up to that person. You can do it through a note, or we could just all do it together and give a round of applause, not only to the leadership of Catherine Hayden and Barb Walker, but all the past people and those present. So
In
I'm just
fact,
asking to give a
all the
warm
people that have
applause.
submitted articles and written for the core report, just stand up.
Don't be afraid. It's a warm fuzzy. Come on.
Okay, let's acknowledge. It really does take a team. It does.
One quick notice that I remember one night playing samba with Donna Munter. And it was near Christmas, and a Santa Claus came in the room, and he's going around, "What did you do good this year?" And he puts his arm around Donna Munter, and she says, "Well, I did the core report for 12 years."
Who was Santa?
Don't know.
I mean, I think we all acknowledge the significance of it. You're talking about a huge loss.
Yeah.
But realize it came about from members, and it was contributed by members and volunteers, and that's what it's gonna take to bring it about. Even if it changes slightly the format, if it, I just even said, could it come out quarterly? I mean, that would give time. But I mean, the task force really has to address, how can we do it? Because no one wants to see it disappear. You could see the show of hands that we had. So without you, it won't happen. Any other comments on it? Sheila, someone give Sheila a mic.
Sheila Burnett, and my comment isn't about the core report, although I'm so grateful for all the people who have done it through the years. It's really helped us since we moved here. My comment is, does everybody here know that if you have something to announce, like I found a cane in the garage the other day and I wanted to let others know. I mean, I contacted Nancy Anderson, and I wasn't sure if everybody knew that. She sent us out an email this morning, but she's really done her yeoman's work too as far as doing that, and I think it's really helpful.
Yes.
She does a very good job, and that's a whole part of communications I didn't even mention. But again, that's a volunteer stepping up and doing it. Even when she's in Arizona, she does it. So.
Right.
I just wanted to tell them that underneath, it says, underneath hosts. It does.
I'm sorry, I just ripped that away from you. Give that to me. When you go to the posts where I showed you the 4 boxes, AP&B, board, friends, up on top it says who to contact. So under the friends post, it'll say contact Nora or Catherine. Anyway, that's just a quick help. Thank you for that. And we'll get that information out too.
Should ask.
Tom?
Yes, I just wanted to say that Barb and I both did the calendar for 11.5 years, and I'm not looking for your applause, but I will stop for a moment.
But you will get it.
I'm serious. Barb and I were co-conspirators, you might say. We had some very spirited discussions on things related to the calendar. But we're still married, and we plan to stay that way for as long as we can. Thank you.
This is cooperative living. Okay, I'm going to just move agenda real quick. So you do have that one handout, and then I have another handout that I will put up here on the table. And what it is a nomination form. It's a broad sweep. You can nominate yourself, or you can nominate someone else for any of the communication things we've talked about. Okay? It talks about needing organizing, prioritizing, writers, editors, Are there other types of classes we might want to have in the future in communications? Are there other communication channels we might want to explore? Who enjoys exploring or learning new things? And realize, one way to keep our brains active is to learn new things. And I know technology strikes some people as fear, but I mean, is it fear or future? Can it keep your brain active to learn something new, even a part of it? And as Dottie has worked with people on the portal, she's carried this all, and she's dividing it up now into pieces and training people to do pieces of it, so that if she's not here, it goes on. So pick up a piece of paper before you leave. I'd like to just address this quickly. When you talk about high real estate, that mailroom is high real estate. It just has gotten kind of overwhelming with things everywhere. And we're trying to organize it in the sense that when you walk in, the left side is going to be for member news. That's how we're going to introduce new members, at least with their pictures, possibly some bios. Also put community news under that. We'll put more sleeves there. The pillar, which is extremely high real estate. Right now we're talking, it'll be the board. I want to give the staff also a place to be able to put things, and then we're thinking of this week. So we'll put more sleeves there, and then I have talked to two women. Louise, are you here? Oh, I didn't see you, sorry. Would you just stand up? Louise and Ingracia are going to take over the mailroom, and that bulletin board, they're going to organize it. So what you need to do is tell them the titles you absolutely want on that bulletin board. Because right now, everything's negotiable. But we're going to try and save the pillar and the left wall for member news, and then board, staff, and this week. Okay. I want to ingrain this in your heads. Cooperative living requires great communication at every level by us all. I thank you for your time. As you can see, a lot is needed. And I invite your participation. Thank you for listening. Any final comments?